I hit a really good shot that landed about 10 feet short in the middle of the green. There was a guy standing up on the hill above the green, headed to the next tee, and the ball just rolled right in like a putt. It's
So
pretty cool.
everybody listening, Bryan can teach you how to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Whole Story Podcast. Robbie and Jonathan here. Jonathan, how are we doing today?
Doing well. It's winter in Augusta, so it means it's about 70 degrees outside.
It's winter everywhere in the northern hemisphere. I'd just
Right.
like to point that out.
Well, but it's not 70 degrees everywhere. So
That is true. That is true. Before we introduce our guest, I do want to mention the BestBall Golf Club. Jonathan, we started this thing up. It is a very inexpensive way to connect with people really all over the world. We've got people from all over who have signed up for this thing. It's $5 a month. I know it's probably the cheapest golf club membership out there. Cheaper. It's actually cheaper than a bucket of range balls at Fort Jackson Golf Club where I go hit practice. So $5 a month, but what it does, it's a connection of people all over the place online, and we'll do in-person stuff as well. It's just an opportunity to build on the foundation that golf is people, right? The best part of golf is, yes, it's fun to play nice places like we're going to hear about on this episode. But the best part of golf is people, right? Being and enjoying the people you are with on the course, right?
yeah, and I'll tell you, just getting this thing off the ground in the first couple days, and one of my favorite parts is to go into the chat and we try to introduce ourselves and see the list of states and the people where I go, who is that? And then you like start a conversation, go, hey man, I've never met you before. Where are you from? What's golf like for you? That sort of stuff. So we're quickly making friends all across the country, and this is just going to be another part of that. Looking forward to see where it goes.
And it gives us more reasons, and all the members too, right? More reasons when you travel, and it's like,
That's
hey,
right.
I'm heading to San Diego, the Oceanside area. I'm gonna hook up with Grant Holly and go play at Go Hill Park, right? Or many of the other guests that we've had on the episode. But
That's right.
we've got Grant out in California that has joined up, and so people all over the place. But it's about building connections, building a community. So check out what we have going on. You can look at bestball.com, our main webpage, and find out more info about it. But anyway, today's guest, Bryan Lebedevitch, he is the director of instruction at PGA West and the performance lab that they have out there. Jonathan, I was all in, man, nerding out on the different tech he was talking about that helps make you better, right? You get the data. We talk about in sales all the time. You can't manage what you don't measure,
That's
right?
right.
And so all these things are measuring what you are or not doing in the golf swing and helping give you things to do to get better.
Yeah, I'm looking just behind my camera here for a little net that I can hit into and some golf balls, and I'm thinking maybe I should get some sort of floor that moves and tracks the speed of my putts and can replicate holes that I infamously miss putts on. So, yeah, you talk about nerding out on the technology. Really cool to see how technology can change, and obviously with the right instructor can help anyone, so like me all the way up to a tour pro, figure out how to play golf better.
Yeah, well, like you said, more of it's coming to the consumer market, right? Everybody can check this stuff out, but there is so much value in a great golf instructor, a great
Yeah.
coach. You and I have seen proof of that, and just talking and hearing it with Bryan, like, I mean, he's been doing it a long time and doing it quite well. So, yeah, I think you guys will enjoy this episode. As always, we are brought to you by our friends at Summit Golf Brands. We had Billy Draddy on at the beginning of this year, but the folks at B Draddy, Zero Restriction, Fairway and Green, they make incredible stuff. I mean, Jonathan and I think are rocking the same Zero Restriction lightweight quarter zip today.
Yep.
Yeah, they make incredible stuff, and they're kind enough to give our listeners 20% off go to any of their websites, use BestBall20, get 20% off. They've got the new styles coming out here for the spring, and so you can get ready for when that temperature does start warming up in the places where it's not 70 degrees right now, Jonathan. So, yeah. Any other thoughts before we jump into this one?
If you are looking for some new clothes for the spring, the Coastal collection is coming out. I got the text alert this morning. I've already started making my list. Unfortunately, my birthday isn't until Halloween, so I might have to just pick up something on my own.
Go ahead and go with the fall collection for Jonathan for his birthday wishes. So, anyway, well, listen, this is a great episode with Bryan from PGA West and the Performance Lab. Y'all enjoy. All right, joining us on today's episode of the Whole Story Podcast, Bryan Lebedevitch. Bryan, how are we doing today?
Great, thanks. How are you guys?
We're doing well. We really appreciate you joining us here. You are on the other side of the country. I'm in South Carolina. Jonathan's in Augusta, Georgia. But through a mutual contact, Taylor Cosby, we got connected to you. And like we were explaining before we hit record, we love good golf stories. And so just kind of researching who you are and seeing some of your story, fascinated by that, and then seeing what you're doing at the PGA West Performance Lab. It was incredible. So we always start every guest by tell us your story in golf. Like, how did you first get into golf?
Yeah, I started golf at a really young age. Introduction to the sport was through my father and grandfather, and then began working as a caddy and worked at local clubs in the Northeast, Connecticut. Went to Loyola College in Baltimore on a golf scholarship. Worked at Caves Valley Golf Club in Owings Mills, Maryland during college and after college, and then proceeded to join the staff at Doral Resort and Club down in Miami, Florida, working for Jim McLean. Spent 3 years there as an assistant. Final 18 months were as Jim's personal assistant, so I trained with him with every lesson in school that he did for that period of time. Then moved with two fellow instructors up to northern Michigan to the Traverse City area to help open Jim McLean Golf School at Grand Traverse Resort and Spa. Traveled between Grand Traverse Resort and Spa and La Quinta Resort and Club and PGA West for about 4 years, and then ended up calling La Quinta PGA West my home, and I've been here for this is my 28th season.
28th season in one place?
Yeah, 28th season in one place. Yeah.
It sounded like you went moving, and then just decided to stick.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, as I'm sure you both know, with golf. I feel like being in two places is more difficult than being in one. La Quinta offers more of a 9 to 10, I would say 9 to 10 month season, whereas Michigan is pretty much 5 to 6 months, and it's a little bit harder. So met my wife in Michigan, and we moved out to California and just elected to call California home and raise a family here and just keep working here at PGA West. So the first time I came to California, I'd never been to California. I drove here from Michigan with the intent of staying for 6 months, and 28 years or 27 years later, here I am. So.
Well, you picked a good spot, right? So PGA West there in La Quinta. Before we get into the Performance Lab, which I'm really excited to hear more about, talk about just PGA West in general. For those that aren't familiar, American Express Championships, which we're recording this just before they come out, correct?
Correct.
And then just tell others who don't know or aren't familiar with PGA West just what that place is all about.
PGA West, the tagline is the Western home of golf in America. It's a very large facility made up of 9 golf courses. We have 5 resort courses and 4 private courses. At PGA West, we have 6 courses, and then a couple miles from PGA West, we have a lone course called Citrus Golf Club, and then there's another facility called Pete Dye Clubhouse that has 2 golf courses, the Mountain Course and the Dunes courses. PGA West has the Stadium Course and Nicklaus Tournament Course that we use for the American Express, and then we have the Greg Norman course here as well, and then the 3 privates are the Nick Private, the Palmer Private, and the Weiskopf Private. So it's a huge facility. PGA West, the main facility where the 6 courses are, is a very large, not just golf production, but housing production. So people that live here, all of our holes are lined with houses. People are operating via golf carts most of the time. So you can pretty much get anywhere on property via your own personal golf cart. So it's a very very large facility. We've got here at PGA West proper, we've got three double-sided driving ranges. Over at Citrus, you've got a double-sided driving range, and Pete Dye has a driving range as well. So we've got great practice facilities, great clubhouse facilities, and great golf courses, plus arguably some of the best weather anywhere in the country throughout the year, especially this winter so far. I hear it's pretty miserable in a lot of places, but we've been actually kind of fortunate. We've been warmer and better than most Decembers. So Decembers and early Januaries.
I think you just knocked off like 10 of the top 30 bucket list courses for people to come. And you start listing all those courses, and I think, wait a minute, I thought we'd come for like a 3-day trip, and all of a sudden it starts extending into a 2-week trip, and you still don't get all the courses played, right?
Yeah, it's again, big facility, a lot of assets that we have here for guests that are coming in to visit us for whatever their period of time is. So it can be a couple days up to a couple months.
We'll ask later what your favorite course that you've played is, but I've got to ask, with that many in your backyard, do you have a favorite there?
Favorite here on property?
Yeah.
Yeah, the stadium course at PGA West has always been my favorite. It's the premier course here on property. It's the one that hosts the PGA Tour event every year. We just did a fairly substantial renovation on that course last year. We pretty much redid every hole from 50 yards and in, with resizing greens and a bunker project that restored all of the bunkers to Pete Dye standards. And then we carried that kind of out into the fairway bunkering as well. So the course got a new look. We got better base surface for the greens and better green sizes. So it was great last year for the first iteration of American Express on the new redone stadium. And this year I think will be even better.
What does it mean to restore back to Pete Dye? Like, how is there an original concept that sort of tailors to that, or?
Pete Dye bunkers, generally speaking, are relatively flat, sandy bottoms with grass that wraps down to the sand.
Okay.
So it's not uncommon in a Pete Dye bunker for a ball to roll up against where the grass meets the sand. So there's no flashing, there's no faces on normal Pete Dye bunkers. So you can't plug a golf ball in the face of a bunker because they don't exist. The grass just wraps down to a flat, sandy surface. And it's a really clean look, and a really I think it just makes the bunkers more distinctive.
The only thing I heard was that I could probably putt out of those bunkers because there wouldn't be a lip so it'd be perfect for me. That's how I get out of most bunkers anyway.
The problem is the large hill that's normally there in front of it. So we've got if you're not familiar with it, the 16th hole on the stadium course is called San Andreas Fault, and it's a bunker that's about 20 feet deep. So it's you're probably not going to putt very well out of that.
Just got to putt really hard.
Jonathan, you might want to putt back out towards the fairway, back towards the tee box, and then try to putt up.
I don't always putt towards the green, but I do my best to putt out of a bunker if I can.
Well, Jonathan, you talking about putting out of a bunker. This is perfect because we're on with the director of instruction.
I know.
You might get some bunker lessons from Bryan here, but Bryan, the performance lab, right? Let's now talk about that. You have state-of-the-art equipment, teaching facility. What all is going on there that people should come check out?
So recently, a section of the clubhouse became available, fairly sizable area, roughly 1,800 feet. And we decided to go forward with a performance lab in that space. So basically what happened was we planned for 2 hitting bays and a putting lab. We came up with the technology that we wanted to include in each space. Then we did the design of the space, built it out, and housed all of that stuff inside the space. So in our putting area, we have, if we start on the floor, we have a 16 by 8 foot Zen green stage, which is a movable platform that allows us to tilt the ground right to left, left to right, uphill, downhill, and twist the ground as well. So you can get double breaking putts, which is a really cool feature. Then we've got Quintic ball roll launch monitor system, which is essentially telling us everything that the putter tells the ball to do and everything the ball does from that. So launch monitor for putting allows us to not only have a better ability to teach putting at all different levels, but also have a better fitting experience for anybody that's looking to get fit for a new putter. We also in there have a 4-camera system and another product called Quintic Indoor Overhead. Quintic Indoor Overhead allows us to display what's happening when the ball's hit on the green through light. So we turn our ceiling lights off, and then we can see the track of the ball on the ground, and it gives us a lot of data as the ball is traveling as well. That's our putting lab. Our main our main hitting bay. Well, let's start with the lesser of the two. Has TrackMan Indoor Overhead dual unit that allows people, both right-handed and left-handed golfers, to use that technology, and a 4-camera swing catalyst system in there, which we use it as a teaching bay, and it's also a bay that houses a secondary version of everything that we use for our club fitting department, which is headed by Charlie Rohde. So we carry TaylorMade Callaway, Titleist, Zexio, and Cobra. And it just gives Charlie a space where if he needs to retreat because of outdoor elements, he can do fitting inside. Plus, that's a place where we can teach golfers as well. The bay next to that is our most tech-heavy environment. We have a built-up subfloor in there that houses a Zen swing stage. The Zen swing stage allows us to tilt the ground to create any of the lies that you'll experience on any of our golf courses. Inside the swing stage, we have a set of swing catalyst 3D force and pressure plates, a 4-camera system as well, and then we have Gears Golf in there, which is a 3D version for mapping club data and body data. So it's a very tech-heavy environment, but it's cool because you can use it with any level of golfer. You just have to be able to cater the data to the person that's in front of you.
I was just going to say, you said every level of golfer, except for the ones who would have no idea what you mean whenever we look at all this information. So, like, because I'm sitting here thinking, if I'm just trying to figure out a golf swing, the last thing I want is for the floor to be moving underneath me as well. But clearly, you're bringing in folks that are saying, "Hey, I'm at this level of golf, but I'm having trouble with this one minutia part. Can we fix that here?" And it sounds like you can.
Yeah, that's that's where the professional has to understand all the tools at their disposal and be able to determine what's going to be best for the client. So
Yeah.
you can take a beginning golfer in there and choose to use video from one angle. TrackMan Indoor Overhead gives us a massive amount of data, but if you want to just focus on one data point, you can, one or two, and you can customize the screen so that the person doesn't become overwhelmed. And same thing with force plate data and or 3D stuff. So it can be as advanced as you need it to be, or it can be as simple as you need it to be. But that's again up to the teaching professional that's in there.
This might
I'm
show my age, but all I keep thinking is the Matrix. Like everybody sees green lines, and you're just
yeah
seeing a woman in a red dress, apparently.
yeah.
Gears has some of that to it. So now we have a new Gears product. Gears Golf used to previously be an 8-camera system where you had to wear a pretty in-depth suit to get an avatar to be formed. Now with the 9th camera system, it relies a little bit on tracking and then AI to help develop the avatar. So the process is a lot easier to put a golfer into Gears.
I saw some of the images on the website. It looks like they're wearing the suit for like making a video game or like CGI for a movie.
That was during the time that we filmed that promotional video. That was the full suit. Now you actually only have to wear a hat and a belt and have a golf club, and you can get the same avatar. So
Yeah.
it's
Keep your head down and turn the hips, right? Like that's all you really need to measure.
it's a little bit more to it than that.
Yeah. Well, you talked about all this technology and you've been teaching golf for a long time. I'm guessing it's made your job a lot easier, but are you still relying on some of the early things that you did when you first started this?
I think technology always helps because it can give you definitive answers, but they're all just tools to help make the teaching process a little bit easier and help maybe open the eyes of a student and give them more concrete answers. Back when I first started teaching with the McLean Golf Schools, we didn't have a lot of stuff, but Jim always pushed himself to have the latest and greatest tech, and he still does. That's something that we've just added, but I think that all it does is it makes the process easier. So in the early days when I was training to become a coach, we pretty much had video and very limited launch monitor stuff. Then throughout the last 25 to 30 years, we've had many launch monitor companies enter the arena. We've got body tracking stuff, we've got marker tracking, we've got markerless tracking. So you got ground force production stuff. There's all these different ways to measure golfers and show them what's going on. However, the tech doesn't really tell you what to do. It just tells you what's happening. And then as a coach, you have to be able to use the information, the data you're able to gather to apply that to a student and give them the easiest way to fix whatever they're looking at. So if you're looking at full swing stuff, short game stuff, putting stuff, it's kind of all the same. You're gathering data and you have to be able to disseminate the data and give it to the student in a way they can handle it.
How how new or how new is that technology when it comes to the putting side of things? Because obviously there's tools and tricks, and there's you know things that you can do on the actual putting green. And I mean, I've watched professionals warm up, I've watched amateurs warm up, but whenever you put them on that floor that can move and do everything else, and it sounds like even tell the speed in which you're doing it with the TrackMan technology, how has that transformed how you teach putting?
Sorry, TrackMan we don't use in the putting
Oh,
area.
sorry, I
TrackMan,
thought it was
that's
TrackMan.
okay. TrackMan's in our hitting bays. In the putting area, the Quintic ball roll is the launch monitor unit that gives us data about what's happening. It's really, I mean, it's really quite interesting because it's hard to see, degrees or half a degrees, and that's what this unit does. So it provides you with such great specific detailed information and then ways to actually change it and measure it. So, I mean, there's been a lot of great putting instructors. Carl Welty was a guy who worked here at PGA West and worked with Jim McLean for a lot of years. He's since departed. But Carl was kind of on the forefront of putting instruction. So we were all we all benefited from what Carl did in the early days. And now it seems like a lot of the stuff that he was on the forefront with has turned into more of a tech-based side. And we're seeing more putting instructors out on tours, all the different tours, and we're seeing more putting labs and more putting specific instruction is coming to the market. And that's kind of neat. I think that the cool thing about the putting tech that's out there, specifically with ours being Quintic, is it gives us a way to really look at data in sets and kind of decide again which route you're going to go with somebody. And when you can start to show them differences in the data and how the data is improving, makes it easier for them to understand what has to happen. When you both just said you've seen tour players practice at tour events versus amateurs practice. When tour players are at tour events, they're using everything at their disposal possible to shave off as many strokes as they possibly can. You're going to start seeing more of this tech stuff on the road at tour events where golfers are really diving into what things are currently happening and what they need to do in their practice, and then they develop drills that focus on the data points that they've derived from the tech, and they might not do it again for a certain period of time, and they'll just work on their drills to improve the areas that they focus on during the diagnosis.
Can your
Sounds like
floor
sounds like you're
can
going to be busy during the Amex week with all the pros coming in.
Yeah, this with with Amex coming up, the main goal for us is to try to get as many of the coaches that are here on site with their players into that space to use it and be able to capture some of the tour player data for our own use as coaches, but also just to show them the improvements that we've made here at PGA West.
Can you recreate holes? Is it large enough so that you can be like, I've had tried trouble with number 4 at Augusta National, and from this spot, can you recreate that move for me so I can see how it rolls?
One of the cool functions of Quintic is it'll allow you Quintic and Zen Green Stages. It allows you to create like a playlist.
That's
So
awesome.
we can create different playlists. So right now there's certain putts that are saved in our system, like Jack Nicklaus's putt from 17 at Augusta is saved in there. our goal is going to be to take historical putts from PGA West and kind of create a playlist that way. So you're creating a putting course essentially, and it's all touch screen. You touch a number and the floor will respond to whatever you program it to do. So
I can envision this partnering with someone like the Stack system, and maybe they're already working on it because their Stack putting feature. It's you're out on a putting green. It tells you, all right, find a 4-foot left to right downhill putt. The next one, it's like 15 feet uphill left to right, and you can probably program those things into your system there and hit go, and then you're not having to walk around and find it because the floor and technology is doing it for you.
Yep.
Man, Sasha, if you're paying attention, go check these guys out.
I'm assuming this is just 3 easy payments of $99.99. I can put this in my garage and then I can just have my own putting surface. Is that what you're saying?
You could have you could buy a putting platform from Zen and put it in your garage. There's Preston Combs is a pretty well-known putting teacher. He's got a Zen green stage in his garage, and I think it's called Preston's Garage. But they're becoming more and more visible at lots of different locations. And there's a couple other, I think there's a few other competitors in the same arena, and you'll probably continue to see that increase as well, the number of options that you have. But it is cool to be able to create a tilt, and you'll have some golfers come in who say, I really struggle with this type of putt, and you're able to create the exact tilt and work on that type of putt. The other neat thing is it's very useful for aim point. So we have a gentleman on staff who's one of the senior guys at Aim Point, and it's going to be cool to watch him be able to use that with any level golfer, because beginning golfers, you can just show them different tilts. You can go from 1% to 6%, no problem, and they can just start to feel what the different tilts feel like underfoot without having to be outside looking for it. So
that's
cool
crazy.
stuff.
Yeah, that is cool.
Well, you referenced, with the Amex coming up, teaching professionals, teaching coaches and stuff like that. But you go all the way down, like you mentioned, to the amateur first-time golfers. How do people access the Performance Lab? Like, what is the process for saying, hey, I, Robbie, want to come out and check it out, get some lessons, play, practice, and go through that? Like, explain what people listening would need to do to come see you.
All instructional offerings are done through the PGA West Golf Academy, and to go into the lab space, you have to be with one of our staff. So it's just as simple as, calling our office or accessing online appointments. But our main phone number, we have somebody that answers and takes care of all the bookings. We try to use the Performance Lab as much as we can with the different programs that we offer, and we're offering instruction from hour long to 18 hours long in the different programs that we put on. So anytime you just have to be with a staff member from the academy, and the lab is fully available.
That sounds great. So yeah, anybody listening out there, check that out, and we'll put links in the show notes for sure. We could kind of nerd out and talk about the technology in that place forever. And Jonathan and I have been working on a course correction series where he and I both try to continue to get better at golf. So maybe we need to come pay a visit to you guys. But as we kind of shift towards the end here, we will ask the question that we ask a lot of people who come on the show. What is the story of your most memorable golf shot?
The story of my most memorable golf shot? Well, that changes throughout time. Your most memorable golf shot gets replaced with a new most memorable golf shot. My most recent memorable golf shot would have been about 2 months before they closed the stadium to do the renovation, on hole number 13, which is a pretty difficult par 3, Pete Dye par 3 with water left. I was playing with a couple guys in an instructional program, and I hit a really good shot that landed about 10 feet short in the middle of the green. There was a guy standing up on the hill above the green, headed to the next tee, and the ball just rolled right in like a putt. It's pretty cool.
So everybody listening, Bryan can teach you how to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
He actually recreated it with his avatar.
Yeah. We're trying to recreate that in the lab so people can feel what that feels like. But
That might be the closest I would ever get to that.
Sometimes shots leave a lasting impression. That's one that I can kind of still see it, which is pretty neat experience. And the coolest part is when it hit the green, I was not so concerned with the quality of the shot, but more like, hey, wow, this actually has a chance, and you get to see it go in. So anyway, pretty cool.
Very nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, all my memorable golf shots are bad golf shots. So another thing we like to do is what we call a quick nine, just a little bit back and forth. So I'll start off. What is the favorite course that you've ever played anywhere? We can exclude where you're at right now with the 9 different options.
Royal County Down.
Well, that is at the top of many people's bucket list. So what is at the top of your bucket list?
Top? Pebble Beach.
Really?
Still haven't played it. I've been there for Women's Open, walked it numerous times, but have not played the course. Love to play there.
It's not too far, right? Just hop in a car, head on down.
Not too bad.
What is your favorite course that no one knows about?
Favorite course that nobody knows about. That's a good one. I'm having a hard time with that one. Favorite course that nobody knows about.
Kind of like that hole in the wall restaurant that you would go back to anytime.
Some of the courses in Michigan I really like. I think Arcadia Bluffs is one that's not talked about too much. There's a couple that are north. One's called Boyne Heather. That's a really good one up there in northern Michigan as well. Michigan golf's great, and I think it's severely underrated. But during the summer months up there, when you're in the northwest portion of the state, you've got the most daylight and unbelievable growing conditions. So there's a lot of courses up there that I think are underrated that you don't hear that much about.
Perfect. Sounds good. All right. Who would be in your dream foursome?
I would say Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, and probably Arnold Palmer.
It's quite a crew.
Yeah.
All right. What is your favorite snack on the course?
Favorite snack on the course would probably be like a tuna cup.
A tuna cup?
Yeah.
We've never had anybody say that one.
A lot of protein.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite golf course logo?
Favorite golf course logo. I like the Caves Valley logo. Place where I worked in college. They've held the BMW championships there. In the last 5 years, I think they've hosted it twice. Great place. That was the course I would have said not heard that much about, but in the last few years, you have. It's probably one of my favorite places to play because of the combination of it's all walking and it's just an immaculate place. Very, very cool spot.
What has been your favorite pro shop purchase?
Favorite pro shop purchase? Have to be a money clip that I bought at Royal Portrush.
Big clip. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. What is one thing golfers should do?
They should know exactly what the issues are with their own games and know exactly how to work on those issues so that they have some chance of getting better. Most people have no idea.
The list is long. Final question. Finish this sentence. The best part of golf is?
The best part of golf is the feeling that you get when you've done things well. That's kind of a broad statement, but it could be in any element of the game.
Hey, from the director of instruction, I wouldn't expect anything less. Bryan, it's been a lot of fun. I really appreciate you coming on with us.
Thanks, guys, for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, everybody go check out PGA West and especially Performance Lab. Go get some lessons from Bryan or one of the teammates there and get better at golf because it's fun when it's all working, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, for Jonathan and Bryan, this is Robbie. You guys have been listening to another episode of the Whole Story Podcast.